Hey, Tom.
Hello, Patrick.
Today's the day.
It's a day. The day?
Yeah.
Oh.
Today is the day. Tomorrow will be the day when tomorrow happens, I guess. I don't want to go down that. I just forgot what we were talking about for a second. What we are here to talk about is, right off the bat, here we go. Did Wake Me Up When September Ends, the music video, ruin Green Day's career?
Jesus Christ, man. Coming out blazing.
Blazing. Shit ain't been the same since.
This is a hell of a video.
Yeah. Evan Rachel motherfucking Wood is in this music video.
Who is that?
The girl from Westworld. Very famous, I believe, Canadian actress. She might not be Canadian. I guess it wouldn't matter one way or the other, but weirdly star-studded. The other guy's been in a lot of movies too, but I don't think he has quite the name recognition, mostly because I don't remember it. Maybe he does, and I just don't know what his name is. But yeah, 7 minutes in Green Day heaven. This is a very long video. I don't want to say self-indulgent, but yeah, let's start off with a simple question. Yes or no, then we'll go into the show.
Okay.
Well, let me rephrase. Did the music video change their Green Day's career forever?
Change it? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, follow up. Did it ruin their career? Let's get into it. Start the show.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. Thanks for saving me there, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. The career's been different. I can't say. There were a couple fun songs on Uno, but I don't think they were good enough to get me listening to Dose and Trey. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Did it make them better or worse? Dookie is like my second or third favorite album of all time. So I will concede that.
Well documented on the show. Well documented.
So I will concede that while I love American Idiot, it has been steadily downhill since the early 2000s for them.
The reason I bring it up, and I saw the craziest take on Twitter the other day, and I don't quite remember who it was from, but it was something along the lines of like, Wake Me Up When September Ends gets the same amount of credit 21 Guns should, but I don't think anybody's ready for that conversation. And I was like, the flesh just melted off of my face when I read that. But I thought about it, and I don't know if it's that wrong. I don't know. There's like Gen Xers who are like probably, more young Green Day, obviously. But we talked about this I think we talked about the American Idiot album overall when it turned 15 or turned 20, maybe. Right. Maybe last year.
15.
Earlier this year. Yeah. And we promised that we'd come back to this video one day. And I don't want to disrupt your fast facts because I just have questions. I'm just going to bug you with questions for the next 40 to 50 minutes because I'm curious about the legacy of this song, mostly because of how, I guess, legitimately, not to use like a gamer streamer phrase, but epic. Like there's an epic feel to. They definitely swung for the fences on this. It's a 7-minute video, lots of dialogue. At one point, she pulls the video game plug on her boyfriend, which these days, their TikTok's documented. Not a great move, it turns out. So we can get into the dynamics of their relationship in a bit. Do you want to do fast first, or just talk about what it meant to be 15 and this song hitting you like a ton of bricks right in the middle of a summer where Green Day was very difficult to escape?
Yeah, they kind of took over most of the top 40, I felt like. I don't have a ton of fast facts related to like the filming of the video or anything like that, but there was something that I found really interesting, and it's only happened to me once, but someone did this deep dive on a song that I wrote, like the lyrics that I wrote. And it was so fascinating to see how this person interpreted them. And there were some lines
This is for your band, The Good Fight?
Yeah. And like, there were some lines where it just like, oh, that just kind of rhymed. But this dude broke it apart and did like a paragraph on each line and like the intention of the narrator. And some of it was like, I don't know if I was that intentional, right? But what's even like sadder about the story of this song is there's a giveaway in the lyrics. 20 years has gone so fast. This was written on the 20th anniversary of Billy Joe's dad passing away when he was 10 years old. And I don't know, man, like it turned into this 9/11 song. And then when Hurricane Katrina hit, it turned into like, I don't know, the theme song of Hurricane Katrina. But Billy Joe's quoted as saying like, this is the most autobiographical I've ever been in my music. And I really want to know how he felt about such a huge work of art of his being misinterpreted to fit all of these like crazy different narratives. But then it seems like the band leaned into it. So I'm not really...
Was it misinterpreted, man? The video is pretty... It's not like it veers very much around the political, like...
Well, they leaned into it eventually.
Of the time. Yeah. Well, yeah. Let me ask you this. Good Riddance, right?
Sure.
Were they mad that it got played at every prom for like the next 15 years? You know what I mean? Like, it's the perfect prom song. So... I don't know. Is that something you get mad about? Like you say it got misinterpreted and applied to things. It's just anything that could happen in an entire month of the year applies automatically. So that's like 1/12 of all things could just apply to this fucking song. It is somber and heavy and
somber to say the least.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess the Good Riddance thing is the main thing I want to pick your brain about. Like if you write a song that fits something, like you said, it became for, these tragic events or whatever. Can you think of another song written in 2005 that would have been, obviously some of these events happened throughout the decade, obviously 2001 being the September 11th attacks, but that has got to be in the conversation when people are like, oh, how is this going to apply to what? I don't know. Does it fall into that late half of Green Day music writing stuff where people claim that it became too commercial and it was like, I don't know, like popular, putting the pop in pop punk type stuff. But I don't know. Is that something you get mad about? It's tough because it's personal. You think about Gerard Way writing Black Parade songs that are written about dads. They can go in any direction. It's interesting you mentioned songwriters that like at ad meeting where there wasn't, right, and giving the artist generally more credit. I think I was listening to, was it Ben Gibbard on Jim Atkins podcast, the Jimmy Eat World podcast? And, when people are like, hey, this means this to me. And it's like, hey, then that means that to you, which is code for like, I hadn't even thought of that. So yep, that's what I meant, at least. So it's kind of like right, the artist code for like, if that's what it means to you, that's what it means, which is inherently true, in the eye of the beholder type stuff. But yeah, I would share the same curiosity about whether or not that's upsetting. But the album was so insanely successful. I don't know. I guess
how mad could you be?
It wouldn't just bring somebody happiness necessarily. There was some Transformer soundtracks in the near future that maybe made them happier or less happy. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. You have not addressed that crazy Twitter take I saw, though, about 21 Guns getting all the credit that deserving some of the Wake Me Up When September Ends love, or at least that amount of love. Any thoughts on that? That came out of fucking nowhere. I wasn't even following the person. It was just a suggested tweet. I was like, oh, God. Oh, God. Blazing.
I don't know. I don't think I know this song well enough. I know the melody of the chorus, but I can't really say I have much of an opinion. Like 21 Guns deserved more respect than Wake Me Up When September Ends.
I think they were arguing that it should be in saved and held in the same echelon.
Okay.
And this is the same thing as me wanting to talk about some random YouTuber like 12 years ago saying Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey. Like there's no credibility necessarily based on the source of the claim. It's just a claim that is out on the internet. And I was very intrigued by it. Here's a quick question. That summer, what got more radio play? Wake Me Up When September Ends or Boulevard of Broken Dreams?
Oh my God. I feel like I remember Boulevard of Broken Dreams on the radio like every 20 minutes. That seems a little more radio friendly, being like full band most of the time, I guess.
I know this is wrong, but I want to believe that even the weird Oasis mashup where they mixed up Wonderwall and Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Good.
I'm like in my head when I tell my grandchildren, like, yeah, they even played that on the radio. It was only the mashup, actually. And all the Gallagher brothers came to peace with each other for that month during September just to celebrate the weird mashup that came off of someone's Fruity Loops account. I'm just kidding. That's not even what Fruity Loops did. That'll be my brain decaying into mush at that point. Not even really close to anything historically accurate. But
and the internet came on CDs. It's like, okay, Grandpa, like let's go to bed.
Yeah, that meme, yeah.
Oh man, what a good mashup. I'm gonna be totally lost thinking about that.
I'm gonna say Boulevard just for the sake. I think that had more play. But I will say we talked about Skater Boy a few weeks ago. Talk about songs that transcend the genre. I don't know if you have the stats or fast facts, or sorry if I'm delaying the inevitable in what you had prepared, but this is one where you would go to like a Little League baseball tournament and people's sisters would just know it and sing every word to songs on this album. You know, it's just like, oh, this is huge. This is a mammoth effort, and you could make the argument deserves every second of that 7-minute long video because that thing is a mammoth. But like, what do you do with a song like that? You know what I mean? Like, if you're the person, like, okay, we got to make a video for "Wake Me Up When September Ends," which is even a heavy title. I don't know. It's just you're going into it kind of like, damn it, we're gonna like. If I'm the director who they approach, I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want to have to botch this. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's so because I think. We talked about this in the Linkin Park episode a little bit. Like, we were there, right? You all loved it. You know what I mean? Like, any negativity that would be surrounding this song whatsoever is hogwash 100%. Everyone was seemingly at least our age, whatever, Gen Y, early or late millennial crowd. But yeah, I don't know if I would want to have touched it because it's got to be something great, right? When you hear it, you're like, oh, shit. Because it's so simple. The riffs aren't even that crazy. You know, I think it's one of the first riffs you learn on guitar. And for drummers, it's like a good intro to drumming song, I feel like, just to learn how to, like, it's also simplistic and yet so powerful. I don't have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, this was the first song I learned on guitar, actually. And I I just had no idea, like, what a chord was. I was just looking at tabs. And I told the story before, but the first thing I learned was the guitar solo, which is basically 3 notes the whole time. And I was really confused.
Yeah, Billy Joe, famous shredder. Also, we're recording this the week Eddie Vedder died. Rest in peace. Pour some out for one of the goats, for real. But yeah, Billy Joe was not necessarily known for... I always say Billy Joel Armstrong. My whole life, it's just one of those things that comes out. And I kind of wish that's what it actually is. Like, one day I'll just look and that's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think if you're going to start learning solos, his would be the ones to begin with. That's for sure. Yeah.
So it's just like frets 12 and 12 on the G and B string. And I kept reading it on the tabs as like 1, 2, 1, 2. And I was playing it super wrong. And my buddy Zach, who was like letting me play his guitar at the time, helped me through it and eventually learned the intro. But once it got to like a full C chord, I didn't know about chords yet. So I just like could only play the first 5 seconds of the song.
But when you're learning guitar, that feels so awesome. You're like, that's how it sounds on the radio.
And like, yeah, and everyone
I'm going to invite some people over and play this for them.
Right.
And then as soon as someone else hears it, it's dog shit. And it's like, how? I was playing it. I swear I was nailing this.
But yeah, I mean, again, it was super recognizable. Everyone knew the song from the first second. It was on year-end charts in like the top 25 2 years in a row on the year-end charts. It did so well. It was like numbers 2 and 3 across all Billboard Top 40, Adult Contemporary, Hot 100, Mainstream Top 40, Mainstream Rock, Alternative Airplay, just like mostly 2s and 3s, top 10 on almost all of them. It was a big
mammoth
one.
Is mammoth the word?
Yeah, I mean, the song alone went platinum. And I think the album, if I remember correctly, was 4 or 5 times platinum.
Here's a game. Quick game time, or you want to finish the fast? Let's just do it. We've come too far. It's not like I haven't interrupted you before. If Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On was the most unnecessarily dramatic song of the 90s, was Wake Me Up When September Ends the most unnecessarily dramatic song of the 2000s? Tweet at us at _reminiscent_FM. I am very excited to be proven wrong on both fronts. I think what I'm trying to do here is portray the weight that my childhood brain perceived these to be. I don't know. It's an experience.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to make the claim, and throughout the episode, I'm going to try to come up with one for the 2010s, maybe. Most unnecessarily dramatic song. Anyway, proceed, my good man.
Well, I mean, that's about it. Like, do you want to get into the video? Because we've got a lot of story.
We'll have there's plenty of video to get to, Tom. So I suppose there's no time like the present.
So this got me thinking. We've talked in the past about music videos that were like cut short. The one that comes to mind is Best of Me by The Starting Line. They had to cut the intro in half because like every 10 seconds is like a certain amount of dollars to produce a music video. And it so bums me out that like I love that music video and I wish we could take 15 seconds out of this video and give it to Best of Me by The Starting Line, because I think it was a little self-indulgent.
Wait, that's a redistribution of wealth. You didn't want to get. You told me before we started recording that we didn't want to get political before today. So I'm trying to keep you honest here.
Okay, did we need 1:45 seconds of dialogue?
Here's my
this
hot
video
take.
is the 1%, Pat.
Here's my take. This absolutely deserved 1:45 for Evan Rachel fucking Wood. They're talking. Here's a question. Got a couple questions. I'm just going to ask you questions. I'm just curious about a lot. I'm a curious boy on a curious fall night. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Sorry, everybody. Drink. I think the new rule I added on Twitter was sorry for everybody for everything. Drink. I think Sarah brought that up. Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. Sorry again. Okay. Would you watch the notebooky Nicholas Sparksian like movie version of what the love story in this video is over The Notebook? Do you think that would be a better or worse movie than The Notebook itself? It's a loaded question because no, of course not. The Notebook's amazing, but I want to hear your thoughts on what this movie might look like and would you watch it?
I've never seen The Notebook, so
get the out of here. I'm out of here. What the man?
I'm sorry, America.
You really have never seen it?
Never seen it. Nope.
I feel like some people even like, well, I've seen the non-Alzheimer parts, which is kind of an insensitive way to phrase that. But, it is much sadder when you go to old them versus young them. Anyway, also, it's a whole thing. I love that movie so much. Anyway, would you watch the rom-com, sappy rom? Not even com. The rom? Romance? Damn. My brain is mashed potatoes, and we haven't even recorded the second episode we're going to record tonight. So it's going to be a fun evening.
It's a Rama drama?
Rama drama.
Rama drama ding dong. That's what they call
it. They've always called it.
What?
We're just a couple of industry insiders talking about industry stuff. Rama lama ding dongs.
So I would watch the movie just because it would be a Green Day production of sorts. Not really my preferred genre, if I'm being honest, but I'd watch it.
You need to watch The Notebook, man.
I don't know if I can.
I know the last episode I was like, hey, you should watch Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke. And you're like,
and I did.
All right, I can get on board with that. Hey, and I'm sure it was a very pleasant experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and go to bat for our new movie. It's not a book club, it's a movie club. You're going to watch The Notebook, man. Yeah, you will thank me later. It is just very pleasant. Okay. Question 2 before we get too deep into the dialogue. Where the hell does this take place in America? Like what? Where? This
I feel
is
like it's
almost
gotta
shot.
be Indiana.
Oh, damn. Okay.
It's definitely Midwest, right? I mean, it basically cornfields, all you can see. I feel like it's gotta be
but like
Eastern Indiana.
It could. The thing is, you could drive from Pittsburgh to Indianapolis to Champaign in Illinois to fucking Idaho, and there would be moments on that drive where you had no idea. You could have like 1,000 miles worth of leeway and not be able to guess where the hell you are. So it could be Oklahoma, it could be Indiana, could be Pennsylvania, Ohio. A lot of Big Ten countries in play for this, I think. Yeah, like you mentioned, we don't really like. There's obviously the political stuff, but that we don't want to talk a ton about. But it is kind of shot like a campaign ad in that way, where it's like this could be any swing state. This is anywhere. Any eligible voter could think this is applying to their day-to-day lives, I think. Maybe except for Los Angeles County or something. But anyway, those are my two questions. Any thoughts on the dialogue? It gets pretty heavy right off the bat. They're talking about love. They're talking about waking up one day and everything changes, too cheesy, not too cheesy. What are you thinking during that almost full 2 actual minutes of dialogue?
I feel like it's kind of just cheesy enough. It's interesting. The director of this music video, Samuel Bayer, is best known for his work with Nirvana and Metallica. So he was going for something totally different here.
Oh my God. Nice fast fact. Very pumped about that fast fact. Damn.
If we're talking about a movie trailer for whatever this mini movie is, I think it was perfectly necessary. A little cheesy, right? Super dramatic for a couple of kids, right? I mean, I was that kid at 1.2. I'll never let you go, Jack. Like, that type of stuff that like the media enforces, that like this is how you should feel in every relationship. Like this is what life is about.
You mentioning Jack just now, just another quick little tally in my parallels to my heart will go on. Just a moment.
Right. So yeah, harnessing some of that energy and just we're going to be together forever. It's us against the world. I'm a total softie when it comes to movies. I'll cry super easily at any movie and TV show. I felt it. I felt like it was good. And then it we see a little bit of the relationship lived out like an ordinary day of them just having fun. And so it quickly breaks up the super sappy stuff. But I think we see a couple like pretty, I guess, famous romantic elements, right? Lots of like laying in fields, running through fields in the sunset or whatever. And man, it's a beautiful scene. I mean, thoughts on sleeping in a field?
I think they did a good job. Yeah. The flowers fully in bloom, almost again, political ad like, where it's like, this is the best version of that field.
Right.
Like nice little golden hour, everything's going on. I thought the actors did a good job. The gentleman's name is Jamie Bell, by the way. I had wrote it down in my notes. I just hadn't seen it earlier. It could have been a phrase I can't pull off, cringe, but it was not cringe. It was the least cringe. It was just fine, I thought. I thought they did a fine job for what it is. And then later, they would become very famous actors and actresses. Evan Rachel Wood is in this music video, if we hadn't mentioned that yet. So pretty significant firepower going on here. For 1 minute and 45 seconds. I don't know if we had mentioned that either. But it is 1 minute and 45 full seconds. And then they show... they're so close in on Billy Joe's eyeball that it looks like he had his whole face painted black, but it's just an extended eye blackening happening for the American, I guess the American Idiot look they were touring that birthed a lot of definitely interesting Halloween costume decisions at our high school that year in terms of the red and black and everything like that. But who's more brave? Billy Joe or in this music video, or Will Ferrell in all of his movies in terms of people willing to show close-ups of their crooked teeth?
I have I never would have thought of Will Ferrell in this. So I have like one weirdly crooked tooth. I've told the story on the show about breaking my jaw on a trampoline, almost losing all of my teeth, but my braces kind of kept them in. And this one up front just started spinning to the side, and it's like 45 degrees angled off. And there's, I've always had these like fantasies of doing the one man full band thing and doing a music video where there's like 4 of me on the screen. And I always thought it'd be fun. And again, this is like 20-year-old me being like, what makes me unique? And at the time it was like, does a crooked tooth make me different? Like, let's do a close up of the crooked tooth as I'm trying to fall asleep at night and I'm storyboarding my music video. But no, they definitely have more. His mouth is pretty f***ed up, but in an endearing way. Right? Like, I'm not judging him. I think it's a power move to be like, you know what?
Usually we
This
try
is
to keep
me.
it silly. We don't try to poke too much fun, although that might not be totally true. But anyway, yeah, there's no reason to go after Teeth, me of all people. So my bad, BJ, my bad.
No, I mean, who cares? Like, I don't think it's offensive. I think it's brave. This is me. This is all of me. Take it or leave it. And
was this the first appearance of a fourth member of Green Day? Might be kind of a tough question depending on who they would have toured with before and after, but they were ditching the three-piece thing kind of officially at this point if it hadn't happened before.
So I forget the dude's name, but he toured with them for quite a while. But he was only on tour. He was not an official member of the band. I do know at some point the band did name him an official member. He was, I believe, in the American Idiot music video. So this might not have been the first that we've seen of him, but it was definitely like the first full year that he's been on screen with Green Day. I think he's no longer an official member, but
gotcha. Okay.
Definitely seeing the curly hair like for one of the first times of the band. Yeah.
Yeah. So they keep, obviously it's like how simple the song is in its elements that come together to make a very heavy, very Celine Dion-like, in my opinion, song. I'm just kidding. No, they're coming together. There's a lot of emotions. You said people compared it to a lot of really heavy events. My dad always associates this song with a Cleveland Indians playoff run in 2007, where the radio played "Wake Me Up When September Ends" over a bunch of their September highlights, where they made like an improbable run to make the postseason. And he was like, "It was just a really nice radio segment." And my dad's great. I just thought that was kind of silly. Like he was like emotionally touched by a bunch of Tom Hamilton Tribe calls over this song in the background. I was like, I shouldn't. But now that I'm a little older, I'm like, that does sound pretty nice. Like he always had this ginormous radio headset that he would walk the dog through the neighborhood.
Oh my God.
The king of not caring a ton about how he looks. So credit where credit's due there. Anyway, a little less heavy than other things the song's been associated with. But Casey Blake played third base for the Tribe that year, which should tell you that it was a ragtag bunch of goofballs that year, and deserving of the song as well. From 01 to 07, that song was used just to be applied to stuff. So anyway, didn't want to skip over that note. And as I'm reading through our doc, I'm talking about sucking on chili dogs at the Tasty Freeze, kind of poking fun at a John Mellencamp thing, where they're showing them having the most Americana-like summer.
Oh yeah, totally.
And you have a question here. Should I tell a sex story? As if you expected me to say no. And if you wrote it in that way, I'm assuming you just wanted to anyhow. So I'm just gonna say yes and see what happens next, I guess.
All right. Before I do or do not get to this insane sex story that I probably should not be telling, I want to take a quick moment to thank our Emo Council of Elders, our top tier Patreon supporters, Johnny Leftwich of the Steve Johnson Happy Hour podcast, and Andre Provost. Thank you both so much for supporting this show. We can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you, so we'll just continue to keep saying it week after week. Also, quick announcement. We announced the winner of this month's Song of the Week contributor, Patrick Madonna. Congrats, one of our earliest Patreon supporters. This month, when we put out our Songs of the Week Apple Music and Spotify playlist, you will be able to submit one of your favorite songs for the playlist. So thank you all so much for supporting the show. We really cannot express enough how much we appreciate it. If you'd like to become a supporter, go to patreon.com/reminiscent. Thank you. We love you all. And back to the show. I don't think it's super relevant anymore, so maybe we'll skip it.
Oh,
it had to do with the field, though. It was just funny. Maybe it's post show.
I mean, we can all.
I feel like it'll derail
connect a few dots. No, hey man, we can. I mean, tell it. I'm sorry, I can't let this go. I can't let this moment pass.
So they're laying in the field, which to me kind of looks like a crop circle, just like all the crops like neatly laid down. They're laying there. The sun setting.
_reminiscent FM. Did this look like a crop circle to anyone else? Okay, continue.
I'm really into crop circles, so it came to mind pretty quickly. But there's like a tall ledge of flowers or whatever, and it just made me think of when Megan and I, my wife, started dating. We went camping pretty early on, which I think was funny because she would tell me years later that her mom was like, "You're going to go into the woods alone with this man? You don't even know him. He could kill you." But we were
Which valid concerns.
super valid. Right? But we were hiking, and again, early on in a relationship, we found a field. We decided to, I don't know, bang one out, I guess. And it was like not far off a path, so
I'm just picturing the date before this guy drops the news to her that he's going to war, and they're hiking, and he had already enlisted, and he's just like, hey, you want to bang one out real quick in that field of goldenrod or whatever? Just the terminology there. That's summer love, baby. That's what it's all about.
So we did that, and Pat, it's gonna sound fake, but I promise you this actually happened. So we're on the ground, and I'm I'm getting up to make sure that no one around had seen, and not too far away, maybe like 30, 40 yards, there's like a tall thing of grass, and there's a deer just like staring at me. And as I make eye contact, its head slowly descends into the grass, and it just seemed like this like crazy peeping Tom scenario, but with a fucking deer. And it like that image of the deer just like slyly descending into the tall grass at just I feel so uncomfortable talking about having sex on this show, because in my mind this is a family friendly program. It's totally not, but seeing them laying in that tall grass just made me think of the deer just like watching.
It was
from
family
the corner.
friendly until you said we banged one out. I'm just kidding. I'm giving you a hard time. I'm sorry. That was like pretty prototypical of the show to be like, no, say it. It's a safe space, and then just roasting each other for whatever happens next. After watching Princess Mononoke, does the deer's viewing of your coitus change in your mind in any way? Was nature judging you or respecting the? It doesn't matter. Let's move past the field sex. Let's just move past it. I don't even know why this isn't like a 2020 Barbara Walters thing. There's no reason to get behind what happened there. A deer saw you. That's pretty silly. We can move right on down the road.
Watch the whole thing like a fucking pervert.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Anyways, okay. So.
Yes. Here's a question. Has a girlfriend ever unplugged a video game on you?
I feel like my mom probably did when I was a kid. I know Megan got really mad at me recently because she like wanted help carrying a bag to the car, and I'd like just started a 30-minute campaign or whatever on Call of Duty, which like you can't just pause that game. I haven't played Call of Duty in years. I played for like a week because it was free.
They released a mobile version of that game. I had no idea.
What?
Yeah, I'm like taking a class right now, or we're doing a project on Activision Blizzard, which they acquired King, the Candy Crush people, too. I'm like, man, they own fucking everything. But yeah, they're like doubling down and expanding all their current. I don't know. It's just like, wow, that's interesting. Betting heavy, putting all their chips on mobile gaming and esports, it seems. But
God, mobile gaming
these purposes
is like awful. Every game is so bad. No, I did nothing but play like Call of Duty and eat Chinese food in college. That's all I did on my Xbox 360. That was like, I got weird.
I'm learning that it's a popular title. I'm not much of a gamer, as people who listen to the show can attest to, but I'm learning that this whole Call of Duty business seems to be pretty well known. Anyway, yeah, because nowadays in the internet age, that seems to be a pretty significant no-no. Or like if you're turning off someone's video game, you're fucking pissed at them. Like it's ready. Like right. One of those two people is either already mad or about to get fucking livid. I don't play a ton of games, but I just wasn't sure if you had an opinion on that, because that's part of their like lovey-dovey montage before the second more than a minute long pause for dialogue.
Right. Well, I think the video game thing is actually significant because it would piss me off so much, right? Because I don't play games that much at all, but most of them are not autosave games. But I think what it's trying to say is she shut off the video game, and for a second he's like, what the F? And then he's like, oh, but I love you. So they kind of like get past it quickly. I think that was actually a very, very bold choice on like showing how much he loves this woman, that he doesn't even get that mad that she shut his game off.
I like that. Yes. This is such a summer shooting star romance that even the unplugging of the game derailed them not. um, has anyone ever shoved cake in your face?
Oh my God. So
If we're talking about cutesy stuff in this video that is supposed to be political ad relevant or relatable, a couple of these things that have never happened to me at all. Not even at our wedding, I don't think. And I was at yours, but I don't know if I recall.
So, first of all, smashing a cake in the face is not so fun when you have a big beard. And Megan and I,
tougher cleanup.
Megan and I swore to each other we would not do this at our wedding. And dude, at our wedding, everything went so wrong. And Megan's dad insisted that we cut the cake with his father's naval sword, which we didn't realize would be as dull as a paperweight. And we could like not cut through our cake, especially with the leverage of being 4 feet away from the cake. And I was like seething in that moment. I was not trying to have any fun at that time. Even if we had planned to smash the cake in each other's faces, I don't think I would have been in the fucking mood at that moment. So no, I've never had cake smashed in the face. What about you?
No, but I just want to comment, mostly because this shows your diary and I'm here to poke holes and derail your efforts. I would say that you've had a rocky go with every romantic interest's father figure, but mostly because of pretty tall asks. Like, that's a big ask, tossing a sword into the equation in any way.
Which in theory is fun, but I don't have any problem with my father-in-law, but
no. But in terms
stressful
of like, so like my mom definitely was trying to like, and if I'm intruding, but through repeating that she wasn't intruding, there was definitely a lot of, okay, mom, just relax. It's all right. You ask, what do you want? And we'll do it. I can't say I've ever heard of a sword being involved, so I'm sure it meant a lot to him if he asked. And yeah, no, I know you get along with him and everything. But if there was any friction that day, just from my perspective, I had never quite heard of the sword thing involved in any wedding ceremonies. It's a strong ask, but no cake in the face. Just had to ask. Because at some point, we're going to have to talk about the second batch of dialogue that happens in this music
Let's
video.
do it now.
And we might as well just do it now. Let's do it now. Thoughts on it? Tougher scene for the kids, I gotta say. But I think they handle it well. Heavier stuff.
Yeah, so the boy basically turns 18 and then the girl finds out somehow that he enlisted in the Marines or something and is going to war. And she's like, you didn't. Tell me you didn't. She slaps him. I can't believe you did this. And
how could you do this to me? I did
right.
it for us. This is supposed to make it easier. Oh my God.
Wait, yeah.
They're slapping.
Make what easier? How could it possibly be any easier?
He had pretty much sworn to her at the beginning of the video, and this is just for the context of what happens in the video. We're not really going to go much farther than that, I don't think, because I don't think we really want to.
Nope.
But at the beginning of the video, he's like, nope, yep, we're just talking about never leaving each other, nothing to see here, just talking about waking up one day and things being different and asking you to be chill about that concept. But no, yeah, we'll be together forever. And didn't seem to have to in the context of this video. He does it. She lays one on him, hand to face, smack wise, that is. What did the 5 fingers say to the face type stuff? And that's at 3:14. Not until 4:01, almost a full minute later, 45 seconds or so, is when the second half of the song comes in. The drums, the stomp on that motherfucking pedal, and let the rain fall down and wash away my sanity, as Hilary Duff once wisely and poetically asked of us. Thoughts on Andrew Gordon playing Andrew and Jacob Gordon, who dressed up like the American Idiot people for Halloween that same year, covering this song at the Rudy Awards quite well, I thought. It's an easy song to cover, and it's a good one. I thought they did a good job. It was just in and around everything, I think is what I'm trying to say. Thoughts on this part of the song, just running it back with distortion or whatever it is?
Yeah, the drums are explosive, man. I remember, again, being pretty new to music at this time, being like, I didn't know you could play the drums like that. Like, it didn't have to be a beat. It could just be this like rhythmic thing filling space and time. It kind of blew my mind. Everything about the song blew my mind at the time. And yeah, bring it back with distortion, a little bit louder, loud drums, lots of space going on. And it's definitely like the grab for the stadium anthem, which a lot of this record was. And I think they did it very successfully, obviously, as you can see the trajectory of the entire rest of their career. But yeah, I mean, they're on these like big platforms, which like reminds me of like 60s bands like the Oneaters when they're on their first television debut.
Ed Sullivan Show type stuff.
Right. And, you know, there's a part of me that, you know, you asked, like, is this the video that did them in? Yeah. You know, once we get to this part, it's like, okay.
And now that we're in it, I'm back in my nostalgia feels. I don't think did them in. We loved every minute of it.
Oh, but, yeah. Changed it.
When people say, when people say like it was the continental divide, I guess is what I should say.
Okay,
of the career. There was a period before this and a period after. And the period after involved a musical, a literal musical. So things did change. But I'm not so sure that's a bad thing that this was in the process. This album got delivered to us, especially this song. What's crazy is that like it was one of a band we really liked, an album we really liked, songs we really liked. But it was almost so commercially successful that we, from even a couple months deep, were like trained to be tired of it. It was like that was the small talk that summer. Like, oh, this song again? That's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Boulevard again?
I think it was just like,
I like it anymore.
They were such big doses that it was hard to keep swallowing the whole thing. I guess like if you know, Basket Case, it's fast, it's fun loving. It's like I could listen to that song every day until I die. But this song is so heavy. You've got to put some space between it.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't think, like, for example, Dumpweed, or like you said, Basket Case doesn't ask a lot of you. Just gonna fart punk it up. We're just gonna, and it won't take more than 2 minutes of your time. About the amount of dialogue that opens this video, honestly, in terms of some of these songs, just not that tall of an ask. This is an ask, and it's almost like, hey, this is gonna define a lot of shit. And hey, do you have a minute? Do you have a spare like 4 minutes to have your day changed? You know what I mean? Like, if you're on the radio and this song just kind of comes along, it could like derail your week, I feel like, under the appropriate circumstances. So, you know, credit where credit's due. That weight is real and warranted and earned. But yeah, I could see, you know, even Boulevard, some of these songs on this album, there's a lot of 5 to 7 minute tunes, Homecoming, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, I have a new game.
Oh, yeah.
So you said Boulevard. It made me think of my cousin Cody at the DJ at my mom's wedding was like taking requests, and he's like, should I go up and request Boulevard of Broken Dreams? And I was just like, absolutely not, dude. So a new game and a new draft. What's a song that would just totally derail the party playlist? And this is definitely one
at a wedding or
just like at a party, a wedding, whatever. Like the vibes are good. Everyone's dancing. How do we make people stop dancing and start feeling bad as fast as possible?
Well, 21 Guns would also derail that. Oh, you know what? You get into Bohemian Rhapsody territory though, with the right amount of rosé, right amount of beer, people might just drop everything and sing right the along to Wake Me Up When September Ends. So you're tiptoeing into like dangerous sing-along Caucasian party territory there. So you might win the room over. That's the thing about this game is you want something that really brings it to a screeching motherfucking halt. So there's got to be a lot of Coheed numbers that would do the trick at a wedding. I would imagine a lot of honestly, a couple weeks ago, we did the lyrics that would get a psychiatrist to knock on your door thing,
right? Which
all of you generously participated with on Twitter. Every single Chiodos number that was mentioned in that game would probably also do the trick. So I don't know. I'm kind of stalling as I think, but I like that game. Should we start next episode with a few options after we think them up?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, we'll shelf it.
So the rest of this video, he's in war. People are getting shot. And it's scary. It's chaos. The girl is back at home crying, missing him. She ends up on the rustiest set of bleachers that have ever been filmed.
Call the freaking health department. Call the county. If this were a political ad, where are my tax dollars going? Because this is the rustiest fucking set of bleachers I think I've ever seen in my life. It's just not a great look for that particular township.
Oh my God.
Unless it's an ad where you're trying to be like, I'll fix these bleachers, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, these are the bleachers. I'm running on these bleachers. I will fix these bleachers. Nothing else. I'm running for mayor. Okay. They bring the audio back while she's sitting on that very particularly rusty set of bleachers. There's this way, no matter what, you'll always have somebody here for you. I'm never going to leave you. The strings are walking us gently out the door on the other end of this fucking roller coaster ride. And she's just on those bleachers, man, in danger.
And he's hiding from enemy fire, and it fades to black. And I don't know what we're supposed to take away from this.
I don't think we have to get into it. I think it just speaks to the heaviness. I think when people take it and apply it to stuff, I think it's probably warranted and fine. Because it's like good riddance. It's not like 40 years later, they're like, hey, actually, come to think of it, this would have made a pretty good prom song. It's like, of course it made a good fucking prom song. It was like immediately clear. So, I don't blame anybody who took it and applied to it, to something they needed it for. I think it lends itself to that pretty well. I don't know. I mean, you can't just write 2-minute. I don't know. What band has written, well, here we go. We're going to show our lack of, I don't know. Does anybody pump out 6 to 10 exactly the same records throughout an entire band's career? Like Hard No, right? Like a couple albums might sound similar, but I don't think anyone just stays the same forever. You get bored of it. You get bored of touring it. You get bored of writing those same, right? Am I way off on that? Or it's just like they had been a band for so long. They had been to the top of the popularizing punk, I guess arguably being responsible for pop punk. Good on them for, I don't know. I'm spiraling a bit. I'm losing my place here. Save me.
I don't know. I mean, feel like they have to have an angle or a message on the video. Someone from Billboard called this the logical sequel to Good Riddance, which I think is interesting. I never thought of them thematically.
When
like
you
that.
leave prom, there's another large amount of life left to be lived, and not all of it's tremendous. What's interesting is listening to early Green Day and stuff. When Good Riddance, stuff like Good Riddance, Macy's Day Parade, stuff like that, you're like, there's another gear here. You know what I mean? I don't it's not just, Welcome to Paradise on repeat for the next 50 years or whatever. You know what I mean? There's something else that they're going to tap into. It's not that anybody would have predicted it necessarily, but the takeaway might be that this was the short film that inspired the play, I guess. I think my sister actually saw that musical, the Green Day musical, but I think it's loosely a similar, let's expand on this idea. And then they've been doing an actual fucking, stage production of this. I think where they end with Good Riddance in that show. My sister was saying a ton of people just come out with acoustics and sing that they lean fully into their whole catalog's worth of building a story around someone who gets into drugs, someone who goes off to fight in a war or something like that. So, hey, whatever, make art. It. You know what I mean? If one of those things, I think we land on this a lot in the show because these are all bands we're fans of. But if you write Dookie, then you have a little bit of, you can do whatever the hell you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thanks for everything, guys. I'm not going to hate you for it. I'm not sure 21 Guns is on the echelon that one random person who owns a Twitter account thought, but hey, it's not so bad. Probably the best part of that Transformers sequel, I would venture to guess. Okay. You know what? I actually do have a lot of songs of the week ready because I realized that the Messingers album I was referring to last week was just the acoustic album or stripped down version of that. I was like, wow, these songs look familiar. It's because they were the same ones. So I'll give you 2 this week and then a new one next week. I promise.
All right.
How about the Swimming Pool song by Laura Jane Grace?
Oh,
new
okay.
effort from, why is the band escaping me?
Against Me.
Yeah. Lead singer of Against Me. New-ish effort, I believe, at least released in the past year. Swimming Pool song, acoustic-y, but definitely still the energy you would expect in a weird way. An interesting listen. I like the song a lot. Kind of one of those ones where you tell pretty quickly, oh yeah, I like this. Add it.
Nice.
Sometimes it takes deep into the song. This one is 20 seconds in. Just yep. This scratches that itch for sure. And I'm gonna go. How about this one? I Fall in Love Every Night by the Born Ruffians. I believe I've done some Born Ruffians tracks in the past. You, Me, and the Duke, or whatever that album was a couple years ago when I was living in Cincinnati, I really liked. This song doesn't sound too dissimilar, but I like them. So if it sounds similar, it's just good. It's off their album Juice, recent release there. But the Born Ruffians, fun band, love them. Those are my two this week, and those can be the two for this week. And my apologies to the Messingers for not being read up on what the that whole album was about, being a whole stripped down acoustic effort in the first place. So for not being prepared last week, my apologies to everybody. For everything, as always, drink.
Yep. All right. Love you all. You can find the show notes at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/194 as we inch ever closer to episode 100. Super stoked about that. We'll
200.
We'll both be in the same state at episode 200. That's crazy. Crazy. The journeys we've been on since we started this show.
Beep, 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 beep.
You can find us on Twitter at @reminiscentfm. You can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/reminiscent.
You're my only woman. All right. Love you, man. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week as we talked about one of Green Day's most dramatic songs ever. Please hit us up on Twitter at @reminiscentfm. Let us know which song you think is a little bit more dramatic. My Heart Will Go On or Wake Me Up When September Ends. If you'd like to check out the post show, you can go to patreon.com/reminiscent. Lots of other perks and stuff going on in there. But mainly you can find us on Twitter. We're excited to talk to you there as we are every week. We love you all so much. See ya.